How are we doing, guys? Today we are looking at the Osprey Exos and the Osprey Exos. Mind blown? Me too. This is the old generation, this is the new generation. This pack I have used for hundreds and hundreds of miles. I've walked across the country multiple times and the length of the country and along the coast and through the moors. I love this pack. This is basically a part of me, as much a part of me as my heart, I feel. This is the new version of the Osprey Exos. It's been released this year. They've also released the Asia, which is the women's version of the pack, so if you're interested in that, do check it out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the main differences between the old generation and the new generation. If you'd like to see individual reviews on each pack, I've put the links below. I've also got packing videos for each of them, so if you want to know how much stuff you can fit in each of these backpacks, then do check that out as well. But all we're going to do today is literally look at, really quickly, all the key differences, not similarities, but differences between these packs, so that can help you make a decision if you don't own either of these, or if you want to upgrade, which to get and what to do. So let's get started. Colour. This is the green in the old one, believe it or not. It also comes in blue and white. This is the green in the new one, believe it or not. It also comes in blaze black, I think it's called. Basically it's black with these pretty awesome orange stripes. I really like that actually. But this is the tunnel green, and they're the two colours you can get in the new pack. They both come in 38, 48 and 58. This is actually the 48 of the older one, and this is the 38 of the newer one. So this is, you can kind of use for, I don't know, big day hikes in the mountains and shorter multi-day trips. This you could use on multi-day trips, anything, you know, up to a week probably. It's a pretty decent sized pack. So, differences. First thing's the most simplest and probably not a deal breaker, but it's the location of the key toggle. So this is, you can hang your keys on, or a penknife, or whatever you want. In the old Osprey Exos, it's in the top pocket. In the new Osprey Exos, it's in the underside of the lid. So you've got this mesh pocket, and that's where it's located. So if you want to keep your keys in the top for whatever reason, you can't, or you can, but you can't clip them in. So probably don't let that be a deal breaker, but just if you wanted to know, that's a specific thing. I'm going to flip it over. So we're going to start with the removability of the floaty lid. Both of the lids are removable, but with the old Osprey Exos, there's 3 points of contact. There's one here, in the middle, and on the other side. And these are kind of a really fiddly toggle sort of thing to untangle the fabric and get it out so you can remove the lid. But with this one, I just want to show you just how easy it is. 2 clips, 1, 2, and the lid is off. Simple as that. Really good. So if you wanted to use this pack without a lid, it's so much easier to use on the new Osprey Exos. I personally don't ever use the pack without its lid, so it's not a deal breaker for me. But if that's for you, there you go, now you know. So also on the back then, we've got the sternum strap. The way it adjusts on the old Osprey Exos is you've got these little eyelets, and basically you have to unclip the eyelet and put it in the next one and clip it back in, and then do the other side, unclip, clip it back in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different positions you can have it in, but in my opinion, once you've got it in the slot you need it in, you're not going to ever have to move it again. So it's really not an inconvenient thing for me. But the new one is kind of like all the other Osprey designs. It's got this slidey piece of plastic. It's very stiff. Again, just to try and keep it in place, but it does give you that little bit more freedom when it comes to moving the sliders on the sternum strap. They both have a whistle on the clip on the sternum strap, but on the harness, the main difference is that the old Exos has these 2 mesh pockets on the shoulder straps. Now these are kind of useful for things like glasses, for, I don't know, sweets you might want when you're on the go, for things that you collect, feathers and plants and stuff. That tends to be what I use them for. I really do like having those pockets there. As you can see, they're very stretchy. I can fit my entire hand in each pocket. So they're pretty decent size, but they have been lost on the new Osprey Exos. And basically what you've got is more foam, so it's just that little bit more padded against your shoulders. So I see the benefits of that, but I definitely would feel the loss without those pockets. Also talking about pockets, the old Exos has these pretty decent sized hip pockets. Look at that, again, you can fit my whole hand in there. I tend to put a compass and tissues in that one, and on the right hand side I tend to put things like lip balm, GoPro batteries, anything else that I need accessible, snacks when I'm out walking. It's just really useful to be able to access those when you're actually on the trail, rather than taking your pack off and stopping. And again, on the new Osprey Exos, those have been lost. So what we've got instead is kind of a different type of mesh padding. It's very thin, but you've got this hole here, and the idea is you're just removing the fabric so that there's less fabric to cause abrasion and friction against your skin when you're wearing well, nothing, or you know, when you've got thinner layers in the summer. So again, I see why they've done that, but for me, that's the biggest thing for me, is the loss of the hip pockets. I really value those, and when I look for packs, I do look for hip pockets, especially with my filming. They're just very useful to have that quick access to batteries and stuff. So that might be a deal breaker, who knows. Let's flip it over to the front. So on the old Exos, we have this big stretchy mesh pocket. You can see how stretchy that is. It's really very flexible, but you can see I have some holes in mine, and basically that's where it's caught as I've walked along. It's caught on trees and rocks and stuff, it's snagged and it's torn. So the way Osprey's tried to combat that is by putting this 100 denier reinforcement on the front of the new Osprey Exos, and the same with the Asia as well. And so you've just got these little 2 pieces of stretchy mesh here, but that does mean it's not as big a pocket as perhaps you would like. It's nowhere near as stretchy. It just kind of comes out that little bit more. So that could potentially reduce, well, it does reduce the capacity of the backpack, but if this is what you're used to using, no stress. The same with the side pockets. So you can see you've got these reinforcements again, just to protect the pack, to prolong its life. So I see why they've done it, but it's not as stretchy. You've got this little bit of stretchy fabric here, which, to be honest, is kind of pointless. Whereas on the old pack, the whole entire thing is stretchy. Look at that, it's just huge. And that's that. Pop that back down. And we're just the final thing then. Well, there's 2 final things, and these are kind of quite key, I feel. Firstly is the back panel itself. So this is the airspeed trampoline panel. With the old one, it's very small pores, but they're both exactly the same function. So you've got your back, then the fabric, then you've got a space, and then you have the pack. And the idea of that is so that perspiration can be whipped away. When you're sweating it out on the trail, it's just going to keep you cooler and drier for that little bit longer. And we can see on the new pack, it's a lot more trampoline-y, a lot more flexible, so it's going to be that bit more comfortable. And the pores, the pores are a lot bigger, so it's going to just aid breathability that bit more and keep you that bit cooler and drier. So depending on where you're trekking and the season you're trekking in, that could be something that could really benefit you, actually, is having those bigger pores that's going to breathe that little bit more. And then the final thing then is the actual shape of the packs themselves. So you can see that this is the 48 and this is the 38. So I would like to be able to compare them to size, but I can't. And weirdly, it's the opposite to what you'd expect. So you'd think the 48 was bigger, but the 38 is bigger. And that's because they changed the design of the actual back structure itself. So they're both lightweight aluminium frames, but on the older pack, it's pretty much just straight the whole way. It's really not very tall, so it sits that bit lower on your back, and the hip bit's kind of quite narrow, so it does just sit against your back, and that is it. Whereas the new Osprey, for comfort, is that bit longer and taller, so it sits higher on your back, so that weight's distributed a bit evenly. But then you've also got this wider bit here on the hips, so it comes round further around your body, and it's going to be that bit more comfortable to wear. So you can see the hip pocket, the hip then comes round, and you've just got, it's far more comfortable. But I'm used to this, so I have nothing to complain about. I've worn this for hundreds of miles, as I say, so it's certainly not uncomfortable. And it has a kind of a reassuring squeak about it as I walk, so I do like my squeak. But that's it, the Osprey Exos and the Osprey Exos. The main differences. If there's anything you think I've missed, comment below. If you have a preference, let me know. I'd be interested to hear. And until then, guys, until the next video, stay wild.